I've been in Costa Rica for 3 weeks, and these are my pros and cons of being a solo traveler here. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with the good stuff. Let's start with the pros of being in Costa Rica. So number one is that the infrastructure is pretty familiar. And this is mainly from those coming from America. You're able to order an Uber around. That situation is a little interesting. I'm gonna have a video in my description below kind of giving you the rundown of the Uber situation here. Other than that, it's pretty, easy to get around. You could just call an Uber, go where you need to go. Shoot, if you're chilling in the house, you don't wanna go out anywhere, you can order Uber Eats. It's really simple. They have all the typical stores you will see in America, the Walmarts, all the chains. I'm like, I see an Olive Garden and a Chili's and a Fridays. I'm like, what are y'all doing over here in Costa Rica? What y'all doing over here? I would say that kind of made it easier to come here, especially as a solo traveler. So I would actually recommend this country as one of the first places to go if you want to solo travel. I mean, it's pretty easy to navigate and it feels really familiar. So that's number one. Number two, many people speak English here. Now, I'm not saying don't come here without having a little knowledge of Spanish. I think knowing just a little bit will definitely help you get around here because there were many people that I ran into that didn't speak any English. But it was nice to know that there were certain places that I can go and certain people that I meet that did speak English. But like I said, I will still brush up on that Spanish just to help navigate in case you do run into someone who does not know any English. So, all right, number three. Number three is really important to me, and it's the fact that I feel safe here as a solo traveler, and especially as a woman. I have been able to walk around the streets. I went to this one restaurant, and I was so full of stuff, and it felt like I just wanted to walk it off. And I saw a mall that was like 12 minutes walking distance away, and I walked my butt to that mall, and I felt completely safe. I didn't feel like I should have my guard up, although I feel like naturally you should be cautious of your surroundings everywhere that you go. But I didn't feel any type of attacks or felt that I had to go above and beyond to protect myself. I just kind of walked to the mall and I was okay with that. I felt safe, so that's definitely that. And I would highly recommend this place for anyone that wants to travel solo. And pro number four is that there's a wide range of things to do here. So for my trip, I decided to actually stay in the city. And the reason being is that I didn't know much about Costa Rica. It was kind of a last minute trip, if I'm honest. So I wanted to stay in a centralized location where I know for certain that I would have stable Wi-Fi, that I would have access to things pretty quickly if I need them. For example, like running to the grocery store or taking Ubers where I need to go. But there's a lot of things to do here. So even with me being based in San Jose, I was able to book excursions to where I could travel 2 hours out to go horseback riding through mountains. And it was the most beautiful thing ever. But I know that there's so much things to do here. That's just scraping the tip of the iceberg. Like, I'm going on a hike actually to a volcano, waterfall. There's just so much to do. You got the beaches, you have the mountains, there's so much things to do in the city. If you like to go out at night, they have nightlife out here. If you want to go catch a movie, you can go to the nearest movie theater. Whatever the case is, they have it here. So that's definitely a bonus of Costa Rica. So let's get into the cons of solo traveling to Costa Rica. And my con number one is that it's expensive. Yep, I said it. It's expensive. And maybe, this could look different from everyone, right? What's expensive to me may not be expensive to you. For me, it was a little bit more expensive than I would have liked. Like, for example, I went grocery shopping right up the street from me, and I believe all I purchased was like a couple of fruits, some water, and some snacks and whatnot, and that came up to like $16. And I'm like, granted, I mean, that's roughly the same price in America, but I think I have this perception of whenever I leave America, my intent is to go to a country where I could spend much less. I don't want to spend the same prices of America outside of America, if you get what I'm saying. Most of the excursions that I had to go to was roughly about $100 US. And again, it depends on how you decide to do it. I decided to go kind of a more safe route. So I booked a lot of my excursions through Airbnb experiences, just because I like to know that I have that middleman in case anything goes south, right? But you can book directly out here. You just have to be cautious of certain websites and make sure that you're going with creditable sources. Number 2 on my list is the GMO foods. That was a big deal because my body immediately felt the impact of not having fresh fruits and veggies to eat. I bought a bunch of fruits and produce and veggies, and the moment I ate it, I said something's wrong. Like, my body just didn't feel right. In fact, I felt very, I don't want to say ill, but energetically, I just didn't feel good, and it continued to persist all throughout the trip. And even now, I don't feel my best. So my intent is to go home and detox. I've actually been on tours and talking to people where they said Costa Rica is one of the worst places in the world for GMOs, chemicals, and pesticides that they put on their food. And they actually say that, you know, here, one of the common sickness or illnesses that they have is stomach cancer. Oh, and just to make note, you are able to find organic foods out here, but you kind of have to do the research ahead of time. So there's a market called Auto Mercado that does have some organic food, but it's very limited. So I went into a store once and was only able to find like beets, apples, limes, and kale. And that was it. That was the only organic produce they had in the whole entire store. So I said, hey, I gotta figure out, you know, what to do with these 4 items because that's what I have. And there's also another store, I believe it's called like the Green Center or the Green Market, something like that. But it's a little further outside of where I'm located, and I just didn't have the time to make my way there. So just something to keep in mind if you're traveling here and your body is already used to organic, healthy foods, then definitely take into consideration of how you're planning to eat when you arrive here. So con number 3 is driving around here. And I don't think I would ever rent a car here in Costa Rica, okay? If y'all see how they drive on the road, and I'm not, you know, for my Costa Rican babes that's watching, I have nothing but pure love for y'all. But y'all know y'all be tripping on them roads. Why y'all be doing that? Why y'all be acting like that? Like, they will force themselves over in a lane, and it's just like it's mind-blowing, honestly, to see the kind of, what's the word? The culture, the driving culture. It's very interesting to see here. Like, it's like every man for themselves. It's just that simple. So for me, I took Ubers everywhere around here, and I think that's what I would do again if I was to come back. Otherwise, I don't know if I'll be able to best navigate the traffic, especially during rush hour. But other than that, I would highly recommend Costa Rica for at least a visit. I intend to come back definitely with a better plan to figure out how to eat, because there's definitely more parts of the country that I want to see and I want to explore. So definitely let me know in the comments below if there's any places that you will recommend once I return. I would love to check them out. All right. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share the love. And I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. All right, peace and love.